May 4th through 8th is Small Business Week, a time that honors entrepreneurs and small businesses across the country. Here with us this morning is Matthew Pollard, a serial entrepreneur, author, speaker, coach, and consultant with some advice for the business owners. Matthew, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, you too. You too.
So, okay, tell me first. I want these folks to get an idea. You just moved here from Australia.
Yeah.
What's
February.
going on here with you? Yeah,
it's been pretty flat out. It's been very flat out. Well, Austin's a great town, and for businesses, it's phenomenal. So many startups, so many different events going on. So I fell in love with Austin when I got here. So I moved here in February last year, and it's just been hectic. We've had Google Startup weekends. I'm about to do Angel Hack coming up just later on this month, actually. So it's been very busy.
A busy guy. So we're going to talk a little bit about, this is going to be very helpful for business owners, small business owners. This is a big week coming up for you guys. So let's first start off with something, differentiation, and why it's an important concept for competition.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of small businesses really struggle separating themselves from anyone else. And unfortunately, that means they just have to continually compete on price. And it's understandable why that is. I mean, a lot of small businesses, they learn from their boss. And then when they go out and do business for themselves, that's all they know. So they start to build out their products and services exactly the same as their boss does. And then, unfortunately, there's nothing different about them, so you can only compete on price. So you're competing against the people that taught you, plus the people that taught other people, and the only thing you can differentiate yourself is with price. And it's a long way to the bottom, but unfortunately, it just means no one earns any money. So differentiation is the only important thing, or the most important thing, to separate yourself from everyone else. And yet, it's the thing that most people don't think about. They just want to get in and start doing the job.
Right. Well, we hear a lot of things about, differentiation, but also niche marketing. So can you tell me a little bit about how folks can find those people for their business, find the right target audience, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So what it's really about is looking for what is the unmet need in a market. So what markets are missing out on something, and if you could provide that, you'd get exponential growth. See, for instance, in my last businesses, all it was about, for instance, my very last business, we created an education specifically for the trade demographic because they hated school and they wanted business coaching. So we provided business coaches to the trade demographic in an educational format where they could afford it. And all of a sudden you get exponential growth. Now, for a lot of small businesses, they're competing in the markets again like they learned from their boss. And what it's about is stepping out of that and taking a bit of a wider view and saying, what markets are missing out on something? If I was to deliver that, can I have no competition? And that's what the answer is really to growth, no competition.
Right. Well, the business is so difficult to comprehend for me. But, for some people, these are important things that they need to learn in order to grow their business. And we want to help you guys here because we're in Texas. We love small businesses. And the last point that I wanted to touch on was sales and systemization. So can you talk about that a little bit and
sure.
how they can better that in their area of work?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that there's a common misconception, which is that you have to have the gift of the gab to be able to sell. And it's just not the case. Obviously, people that are natural extroverts are going to be better salespeople at the start. Just like in university, there are some people that are better naturally in year one, but it's the people that put the work in that do better over time. And unfortunately, with sales, because it's not taught in school, most people don't realise that. So sales is just like a system, just like anything else. So if you spend some time understanding that there are milestones and steps in the process, and you can learn it almost like a script, then you can go out and speak to people and feel much more comfortable doing so. And for the introverts out there, which I was, I had a reading speed of a 6th grader when I was in late high school. I was a very introverted kid, and I had to learn those systems and those processes just to be able to communicate with people. And I found that I went from 93 doors before my first sale. I was a door-to-door salesperson to all of a sudden I was the best in the nation within a series of weeks because I actually researched it and did the work where most people used an excuse. I don't have the gift of the gab, therefore I can't do it. Right. And now I spend my life teaching other introverted people how they can actually be better than most people with the gift of the gab just because they know all the systems, they know the processes. They're going to be better on every single day as opposed to the gift of the gab who that when they have a good day, they're really happy, but if they have a fight with a family member, then all of a sudden they're not on and their sales slump. So it's about creating that consistency.
Well, you obviously have so much, advice to offer these small businesses, these entrepreneurs. How can they find out more? How can they get help from you? Because I'm sure that after listening to this, some of them want to go into more depth with you. So
yeah, definitely. So you can find me on my website, which is matthewpollard.guru. You can also listen to my podcast, which is Better Business Coach Podcast. You can find that on iTunes. But also I've got some events coming up in town. So I've got Angel Hack that's coming on later on this month. And also there's a Google Startup Weekend for Education coming up in early June. And I'm a judge for both of those. So if you're a new starter and you obviously want to be able to get some advice and want to be around a community of entrepreneurs like yourself, you can come along to those events and get some really good support, pitch coaching and some critique from people that are just as skilled as myself.
Well, thank you so much, Matthew, for coming in talking about U.S. Small Business Week that's happening this coming up week. And welcome to Austin. I know that it's pretty new to you, so welcome, Matthew. But we expect to see you back on the show. But thanks so much again.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.